A memorable wire pull involved installing 1,200 feet of voluminous 500 MCM cable. This was a challenging task that required several hours to complete. A come-along was essential to assist in drawing the cable through the conduit. Another noteworthy experience was a 600-foot pull involving 12 voluminous 500 MCM cables. While also difficult, this pull was successfully executed without the aid of a come-along. Both of these projects were for commercial buildings, specifically a new hospital requiring the 1,200-foot pull and a new office building utilizing the 600-foot pull. The distance achievable when pulling cable can be quite impressive. Pull tables serve as a valuable resource for determining the maximum pull length for a specific cable size. It is crucial to acknowledge that various factors can influence the ease and success of a pull. These factors include the condition of the conduit, the number of bends present in the conduit run, and the ambient temperature. Regarding the condition of the conduit, any damage, such as dents, kinks, or corrosion, can significantly increase friction and make the pull more difficult. The presence of multiple bends, especially sharp bends, also increases friction and the likelihood of the cable getting stuck. Temperature plays a role as well, as colder temperatures can make the cable less flexible and more prone to damage during the pull. There are several steps you can take to mitigate these challenges and ensure a smoother and safer wire pull. Firstly, thoroughly inspect the conduit run before beginning the pull. Look for any signs of damage or obstructions and address them before proceeding. Secondly, use appropriate lubricants to reduce friction between the cable and the conduit. There are specialized cable lubricants available that are designed to minimize friction and prevent damage to the cable insulation. Thirdly, carefully plan the pull route and minimize the number of bends. If bends are unavoidable, use wide radius bends whenever possible. Fourthly, use appropriate pulling equipment, such as a cable puller or come-along, to apply steady and controlled force to the cable. Avoid jerking or sudden movements, as this can damage the cable or conduit. Fifthly, communicate effectively with your team throughout the pull. Designate someone to monitor the cable and conduit for any signs of stress or damage. Sixthly, take breaks as needed to avoid fatigue and maintain focus. Wire pulling can be physically demanding, and it is important to stay alert and avoid making mistakes. Several key aspects of wire pulling deserve particular emphasis. Firstly, understanding conduit fill requirements is crucial. The National Electrical Code, NEC, specifies the maximum percentage of conduit space that can be occupied by conductors. This is to ensure adequate ventilation and prevent overheating. Secondly, proper grounding and bonding are essential for safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse and preventing electrical shock. Bonding ensures that all metal parts of the electrical system are at the same potential, reducing the risk of shock. Thirdly, selecting the correct wire size for the intended application is critical. The wire size must be large enough to carry the expected current without overheating. Fourthly, using appropriate connectors and terminations is important for ensuring a reliable and safe electrical connection. Fifthly, following all applicable safety regulations and guidelines is paramount. This includes wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, such as gloves and eye protection, and working in a safe and organized manner. The NEC provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations, including wire pulling. It is important to be familiar with the relevant sections of the NEC and to follow them carefully. Some key NEC articles related to wire pulling include Article 300, Wiring Methods, Article 310, Conductors for General Wiring, and Article 344, Rigid Metal Conduit, RMC. Article 300 covers general requirements for wiring methods, including proper support and protection of conductors. Article 310 specifies the requirements for conductors, including ampacity ratings and temperature limitations. Article 344 covers the requirements for rigid metal conduit, including installation and support. When determining the appropriate wire size for a particular application, several factors must be considered. These include the ampacity of the circuit, the voltage drop, and the ambient temperature. The ampacity of the circuit is the maximum amount of current that the circuit is expected to carry. The voltage drop is the decrease in voltage that occurs along the length of the conductor. The ambient temperature is the temperature of the surrounding environment. NEC Table 310.15. B16 provides ampacity ratings for various types of conductors based on their size and temperature rating. It is important to select a conductor with an ampacity rating that is sufficient for the intended application. Voltage drop can be calculated using Ohm's law, which states that voltage drop equals current times resistance, volts equals amps times ohms. The resistance of a conductor depends on its size, material, and length. It is important to limit voltage drop to minimize power loss and ensure proper operation of equipment. NEC Section 210.19. A1 provides guidelines for limiting voltage drop in branch circuits. The ambient temperature can affect the ampacity of a conductor. Higher temperatures reduce the ampacity of the conductor, while low temperatures increase the ampacity. NEC Table 310.15. B2. A provides correction factors for adjusting ampacity ratings based on ambient temperature. When installing conductors and conduit, it is important to follow the conduit fill requirements specified in the NEC. The conduit fill requirements are based on the cross-sectional area of the conductors and the conduit. NEC Table 1 in Chapter 9 provides conduit fill requirements for various types of conduit. It is important to avoid exceeding the conduit fill requirements, as this can lead to overheating and damage to the conductors. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for safety in electrical installations. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping a circuit breaker or fuse and preventing electrical shock. Bonding ensures that all metal parts of the electrical system are at the same potential, reducing the risk of shock. NEC Article 250 provides comprehensive requirements for grounding and bonding. It is important to follow these requirements carefully to ensure a safe and reliable electrical system. When selecting connectors and terminations, it is important to choose products that are listed and labeled for the intended application. Listed products have been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory such as Underwriters Laboratories, UL. Labeled products have been marked with the manufacturer's name, trademark, and other information. It is important to use connectors and terminations that are compatible with the type of conductor being used. For example, copper conductors require different connectors than aluminum conductors. It is also important to use connectors and terminations that are rated for the appropriate voltage and current. When working on electrical installations, it is important to follow all applicable safety regulations and guidelines. This includes wearing appropriate PPE, such as gloves and eye protection, and working in a safe and organized manner. Before working on any electrical equipment, it is important to energize the circuit and verify that it is energized using a voltage tester. It is also important to lock out and take out the circuit to prevent it from being accidentally re-energized. Never work on live electrical equipment unless you are properly trained and equipped to do so. When pulling wire, it is important to use appropriate pulling equipment and techniques. Avoid jerking or sudden movements, as this can damage the cable or conduit. Use a cable lubricant to reduce friction and make the pull easier. Communicate effectively with your team throughout the pull, then designate someone to monitor the cable and conduit for any signs of stress or damage. After completing a wire pull, it is important to inspect the conductors and connections to ensure that they are properly installed and free from damage. Test the circuit to verify that it is working properly. Document the installation, including the wire size, conduit size, and pulling method. This information can be helpful for future troubleshooting or modifications. In summary, successful wire pulling requires careful planning, proper equipment, and adherence to safety regulations and the NEC. Understanding conduit fill requirements, grounding and bonding principles, and conductor selection criteria are essential for ensuring a safe and reliable electrical installation. Staying informed about best practices and advancements in wire pulling techniques can further enhance efficiency and minimize risks. Remember to prioritize safety in all electrical work and to consult with qualified professionals when needed. Firstly, always wear appropriate personal protective equipment, including gloves, eye protection, and appropriate work attire. Secondly, ensure that the power is disconnected and locked out before starting any work. Thirdly, inspect the conduit and cable for any damage or defects. Fourthly, use appropriate lubricants to reduce friction during the pull. Fifthly, use the correct size and type of pulling equipment. Sixthly, avoid overstressing the cable or conduit during the pull. Seventhly, monitor the cable and conduit for any signs of damage during the pull. Eighthly, communicate effectively with your team throughout the pull. Ninthly, properly terminate and test the cable after the pull. Tenthly, document the entire process for future reference. Careful preparation and adherence to safety protocols are crucial for successful and safe wire pulling operation.